Welcome back, everyone. It's Rachel with LoCasa, and today we are going to be doing deals of the week. We haven't done one of these in a few weeks, maybe a month or so I think it's definitely overdue. Let's go ahead and get into it. These are going to be deals that just recently hit our site, that are new, that have something cool and quirky about them, that we think might be a good option depending on what you're looking for. So what I'm looking at right now is a paid member view. So if you are somebody that is just registered on our website and you haven't had an opportunity to upgrade to a exclusive or premium membership, then you probably only see about a third of these deals. Anybody that's a standard user, you are looking at deals that have been on our platform for a month or longer. So with these deals, these are all brand spanking new. The default order that we have them in is newest to oldest. Most of these you won't see unless they've been on our platform for a month or longer. So the first one that I want to jump into is one that is located in Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, besides the fact that it's in Scottsdale, Arizona, a couple things to note is number one is furnished, but they're willing to offer it unfurnished. And one of the first things that you see is that they're open to negotiation. So this could be anywhere from rent price that they're open to, offering it unfurnished for a lower rent price, and then something really cool that I'm going to actually share with you as we go on through this listing. But you can go ahead and you can scroll through the photos here. You can get a better idea on what it looks like. It has a nice big backyard, which we'll show right here. And then the AirDNA projections are shown to bring in about $65,000 a year. Again, we always recommend do your own research. And one of the ways that you can run comps without even having the address is by utilizing the map icon that we provide, which basically gives you a 3-mile radius of where the home is located within. You can expect it to be right here in the middle. We don't do any funky like, oh, it's all the way over here, but here's a 3-mile radius. No, it's usually right in the middle. Okay, moving on. It's available in September, so that is something important to note. If you're not looking to move forward with a deal right away, this might be a good opportunity. They're willing to lock down a lease now, and then you can always start it later. And again, if you do lock it down, more than likely you're only going to need to pay the deposit up front and then the prorated rent or the first month of rent whenever it starts. So that's something to also keep in mind. Now, in regards to additional information, you can find everything about parking, if they're open a longer than a 12-month lease, if they're okay with a 60-day exit clause, if there's a permit needed. You can also view all the information about regulations and resources here by clicking on View. Now, as we go into the features, I wanted to point out something that we've recently started asking owners and landlords. Whenever we get a yes for Airbnb arbitrage, we are now asking them if they'd ever consider a lease option. Now, this is something that is not required. This is something that is just a bonus. It's an additional benefit. This owner is open to a lease option. So what that means is they're potentially willing to sell you their property for a set amount up front. So let's say this home is worth $450, right? And they're like, hey, I'll sell it to you for $450 2 years from now. So 2 years from now, it could actually go up in value, but you guys would lock down a price now. Like, hey, I'll sell it to you for $450 in the future. Sometimes they do want a set amount up front. Maybe they'll do like a $5,000 amount that will be credited towards the purchase price once those 2 years is up. But basically, it gives you the option. You can exercise the option to purchase the home during or after the lease has ended, or right when it's about to end. So that's pretty cool. That's just something that they're open to. Of course, you guys can negotiate terms, but it's good to know that these owners are open to something like that. I mean, that's exciting. You'll be able to actually run this as an Airbnb, and if everything goes well and you want to purchase it, you want to keep it forever and continue to make money forever and have all the tax benefits, have all the write-offs, have all the appreciation, depreciation, everything in the middle, this would be a good route to go if that's something that you're open to. Again, you can talk to the landlord. Then, of course, we have information in regards to the projected monthly income. We usually put a 15% buffer, but if you think that the expenses are going to be a little bit higher, maybe because in the summer the electricity is pretty high, you could always up it to 20% for additional monthly expenses, 25%, and then it'll adjust the monthly profit based on that, okay? But usually we put 15% right here. So that is the first deal. That is Scottsdale, and the property ID is 7936. That's one of the properties that are brand new. It literally just hit the site yesterday. Now we have another one I wanted to share with you. We haven't had a property in San Antonio in a while. I think a lot of people skim over San Antonio because it's a market that is in Texas, and it's a large city. It's a popular city, but it's not as popular as Dallas, Houston, Austin, those type of cities, right? But the cool thing about this one is the rent is low, right? $1,800 for a 3-2. And the projections are solid. I mean, the projections are a little under 40,000 a year, but that basically is double of whatever the rent is. So 1,800 times 12 times 2. Yeah, that's a little under double of what the rent is, which isn't bad, right? This is completely unfurnished, but check this out. The owner is willing to assist in furnishing if needed. The best owners to work with are those that want you to succeed. Those that are willing to work out agreements, those that are willing to discount, those that are willing to offer concessions, those that are willing to help you furnish. And these are one of those owners. And check this out. This person is an investor. They're a landlord at other properties. So what does that mean? If everything goes well here and you guys build a great relationship, you can pick up more. You can pick up more properties wherever they have them and continue to expand your portfolio. So again, as we talked about, feel free to look through the photos. It looks like they did some minor renovations. It has a nice big backyard, and then here you can see the projections. They also, one of the other great things to note is they're open to a partnership. So what is a partnership? Well, similar to how we ask owners if they're open to a lease option, we also are now asking them if they'd ever consider a shared revenue model. This means that if for whatever reason you don't necessarily want to pay the rent or you want to pay a lower rent, you could always negotiate something like a co-hosting model. So if they're open, like we saw at the top here, they're open and willing to furnish if needed. If they did that and you guys just worked out an agreement, like they get 80%, you get 20%, something like that, that could be great because then you're not obligated to pay rent every month. You just need to make sure that the home makes money. Because obviously if the owner isn't making the amount that they're wanting, they're probably not going to be as happy. So it really is up to you to be like, okay, do I think that I can help this owner make more than whatever the rent is? Because that's obviously going to be the main reason why they would do a shared revenue model, is if they believe that they can make more than whatever they're charging for rent, even with you taking a cut. So that's something to keep in mind, right? But this also helps with your startup costs. If they're willing to assist you in furnishing, that's huge. It saves you thousands of dollars. And then on top of that, they might be open to a partnership. So again, this is just them open to it. No terms have been decided. No agreement has been made. It's just letting you know they're open. And one of the best things about properties, especially on our site, is any type of deal that has no HOA. We all know HOAs can be a pain. I mean, it's already hard enough to find properties that are within good regulations and good areas to be able to obtain a short-term rental permit. So the fact that this has no HOA, that just makes it a little bit easier. Okay. Then it, of course, shows you the potential monthly profit. And again, I know a lot of people, they want $2,000 a month, $2,500 a month profit, $3,000 a month profit. I mean, these high numbers of profit. I understand. I do too. We all want high profits. But over $1,000 for a rent that's only $1,800, and I'm sure that the expenses, the additional expenses like electric and water and sewer and things like that, they're probably only a few extra $100 a month, which we try to account for here. Of course, like I said, you can adjust it. But let's say that it brings in $1,000 a month profit. Well, your expenses are probably no more than about $2,500 a month, like max, right? So let's say that it was that. But keep in mind, once again, these are things to keep in mind, guys. This person is an investor. This person is a landlord at other properties. If they have this property and everything goes well and you're making $1,000 a month here, on top of the fact that they're willing to help you furnish it, it's only a matter of time until you build up enough profit to pick up the next deal, and then the next deal, and then the next deal. $1,000 monthly profit. Go look at the average amount that a long-term rental landlord makes on their properties per month. Okay? And then come talk to me. Moving on. I digress. I've talked too much about this property. It has a nice charm to it because of the wood. Not everything has to be super sleek and modern, and you know what I mean? Like, you could do so many things with this, and if you're not planning on furnishing it, or if you want a professional to furnish it, guess what? We have all types of resources. If you're working with a mastermind, if you have any type of coach, they should have a bunch of resources for you to furnish it or to hire an interior designer for a good rate. So it really just depends, but I digress. Now we're going to go into a couple of apartments in the same state, but in a market where we almost never look, which is Austin, Texas. Now, these two have the exact same rent price. They're basically identical units. They're both in the same building, but let's go ahead and we'll just check out this one. This one's more appealing to me for whatever reason. I think I just like the orange, honestly, but I am going to let you guys know right now. This is in Austin, Texas. If you know anything about Austin, Texas, they have very, very strict regulations. They have, I believe, 3 different tiers. Tier 1 is owner-occupied. Tier 2 is non-owner occupied, which is what we all want. And tier 3 is mostly for multifamily and apartments. This, I believe, would fall into multifamily and apartments. I would have to look a little bit more, but long story short, this is a takeover. So this is somebody that was operating it as a short-term rental for the last year and now is offloading it for whatever reason. If you guys have questions about it, you can absolutely let me know. I can set you up to get connected with them. You guys can discuss more. We have worked with this person in the past. They are a reliable person. We've connected other people to their deals, and we haven't had any type of issues. So that's also something to note. But I wanted to just let you guys know, these do not have permits. I want to make sure I make that very, very clear. These do not have permits. And I asked additional questions about it because I know how important permits and regulations are, and you don't want to get shut down by the city. You don't want to get complained on. You don't want anything bad to happen to your listing, basically, especially if you're going to invest money into it, right? When I asked about the permit, we were told it's not needed by the building manager. So the building manager said it's not needed unless you get reported to the city for issues. So that's why we put in parentheses, proceed at your own risk, because if you do get reported for issues within the building, well, then the city might come in and be like, you can't Airbnb anymore. So something to keep in mind. But again, they were operating for an entire year and had no issues. They're totally good. And I believe that this is a small complex. They do have amenities like outdoor dining, fire pit, and tennis courts, but they do not have like a pool or anything like that. I don't think it's a big complex. Okay. So I just wanted to help you keep that in mind. They also let us know that utilities are roughly $200 a month. And they want $10,500 for the lease takeover. That includes your first month's rent, so $1,500. It includes pictures, furniture, and future bookings, okay? So any future bookings that they have, any potential revenue that they're going to make, that will be passed on to you starting February 1st. So this is when it's available. This one and the other one are both available the same day. All the information is the same on these, honestly. So it's all similar. Then the deposit, you don't see anything here because the deposit is $0. You don't need to put any type of money towards the deposit, so nothing is going to be locked up. So really, the total amount to get into this 1 bedroom, 1 bath is $10,500. This is the gross earnings that it had, but after we took out all the fees, it actually made $30,000 last year. And then, of course, it shows you the monthly profit. So this is actually accurate numbers here. So again, they're saying utilities are about $200 a month. If you increase this maybe to like 18%, 20%, about $750. So let's just say you made $750 in profit a month. You're making 50% margin on just the rent. That's pretty good, you guys. Like, especially for an apartment, that's the thing. Like I said, everybody wants these $2,500, $3,000 a month profits. But for apartments, it's more so about scale. It's about picking up multiple units and those units being able to just guarantee you consistent income. I myself am huge on apartments. I'm such an apartment girly where I love picking up apartments because, again, you can scale really easily. And even if the profits aren't exceeding your expectations, they're consistent. That's what I've noticed with 1 bedrooms and 2 bedroom apartments. Studios, always consistent, almost always. Okay. So that's why I love apartments. And even at $750, I'd pick up that deal. The only thing to warn you about and to proceed with caution is the fact that it doesn't have a permit. But the building manager is completely fine with it. They're saying that there shouldn't be an issue unless you get reported, things like that. And of course, you can discuss further with the operator that you're doing the takeover with and just kind of gauge how everything went with them, things to look out for, anything else that you should know, things like that. So I think that I've shared a decent amount of deals. I've shared 3 of them with you. One of them is open to a lease option. The other one is in San Antonio. It's with an investor. This is somebody that has multiple properties, so you can always scale and pick up more in the future. On top of that, they're open to a potential co-hosting partnership, and they might be willing to furnish it for you, so that's always exciting. And the last 2 that I shared are the Austin apartments. They're both identical, just different furnishings. The operator is wanting an amount to take them over, but of course, that's always up for negotiation, especially if you pick up both. Hopefully this video was of value. Of course, like I mentioned to you guys, if you do want to view these opportunities, they are available to exclusive and premium members, but these are definitely some deals that I recommend looking into further. If you have any questions about the memberships, if you have any questions about LoCasa in general and how we can help you pick up your next best deal, be sure to shoot us a message, reply to this email, go ahead and comment here. This is on YouTube as well. So again, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.